hours in Illinois, and it is brick as heck. We've been instructed to bobtail back to Chattanooga. Usually they tell us to get an empty, make our way to our next destination. I guess it being Christmas week, they have other plans. Interesting. So yeah, on our way back to Chattanooga. It is the end of my journey with Covenant. It was cool, but not so much. This was a crazy, crazy journey. Crazy journey. I'm gonna update y'all on exactly what happened, what led to me leaving Covenant. Y'all, what's up, people? This video has been delayed for quite some time. This video is about what happened, what transpired behind me leaving Covenant. I've been off the road for about 3 weeks now. When I came back home, I was fine for like 2 days, and after that I got sick real bad. My daughter was already sick. I guess everything just came swarming in at one time. I had the body aches, runny nose, I was coughing. I had like all the flu symptoms. And I had to nurse myself back to regular health and nurse her back to regular health, doing all the things. But when I say I could not like walk, I had no energy for anything, lost weight. I was down for the count for a good week. And then the following week, I started to get back to myself. And now this is week 3. So now I'm actually moving around doing things and, you know, back like nothing happened. But so this video is long overdue. I've been reflecting like quite a bit. Just my journey. What did I learn? How am I going to move forward? So I'm asking myself these questions lately. With it being a full moon in Cancer, it stirs up emotions, it stirs up feelings, and that's some of the feelings that have come up for me recently. Let's get to this OTR story of me leaving Covenant. This is my OTR experience. It ain't gonna look like yours. I had a lot of patience with the company. And when I say a lot of patience, the communication was Ari. The amount of accountability, trash. I've experienced different roles within transportation. So when a higher up treats people as if they're below them, we were split into different teams. Team people were respectful to me because of the way I conduct myself. But from what I experienced with my co-driver, they can say things that are belittling of like, I'm your boss. I all know that we're company drivers. Like, you don't need to rub that in our faces at all, you know. But at the end of the day, as a driver, you're the one behind this truck, you're the one behind this wheel, you're the one hauling the freight. So for dispatchers or fleet teams to disregard that aspect, it doesn't speak well. Their lack of communication was what mainly did it for me. And it's like, I understand in transportation, things are not always going to go as planned. It's variables that don't change. You have a driver, you have the dispatcher that's going to be communicating, you have the broker or the planner. These 3 people should be at least working in alignment with each other, because the driver has to drop off that load, the dispatcher has to be aware of anything that may be happening with that driver on the road, and the planner has to know how to plan and bounce loads, and let's just work together. So my issue was, it had home time coming up. In the past, they have messed up my home time. more than a week in advance and that is done and you guys still don't get us home on home time, that's crazy. Now you're just being dismissive about what we said overall. Like, it wasn't important to you, obviously. 2 times messed up. I pushed back about, like, we put the submission in already. Why didn't you guys communicate that you guys were having issues? Keep us in the loop, because we're out here. We are out here day in and day out through all these treacherous roads, winds, and all of that. Just let us know. Like, let's talk about it. But they didn't talk about it. They just did things. The week before Christmas, we had dropped a load in Sterling, Illinois. We dropped it and we asked them, hey, do you guys want us to pick up an empty while we're here? They was like, yeah, go ahead and pick up an empty. Okay, cool, no problem. We pick up the empty. It was going to be time for my reset soon. We was just like, okay, we're just going to sit here at the truck stop so we both get our reset and we should be good to go for Christmas week to roll out. So then they tell us, go drop the empty and then go bobtail back to Chattanooga. What you mean drop the empty and bobtail back to Chattanooga? And we did not get no type of warning like, hey, this is what you guys need to do. This is what this is about. It wasn't none of that. Like, it just says drop the empty and come back to Chattanooga. So us as drivers, we're like, what's going on? We should have a whole nother week left before we even are able to go home. Like, what's happening? No one was giving us answers, and it was after hours. So, like, people go home. Like, we can't get in touch with our fleet team like that. They have the overnight fleet team, but it's a little bit longer to get a hold of somebody at nighttime. So, nighttime dispatcher was like, oh, it's probably because you guys are going to reteam. Me and my co-driver were having issues regarding miles ran and my way versus his way. With me having my license less than a year, by the time this comes out, probably it's going to be already a year. But me having my license less than a year, my co-driver believed that I need to be doing 650 miles every day. That is achievable, but keeping in mind weather, terrain, tiredness, sleepiness, how much sleep I done got, all of that. Those 3 things affect, in my opinion, how a driver drives. So there'll be many times we'll be coming from north, going down to west coast, from east coast, back up to north. Like, driving Missouri, I do not like driving in Missouri. I do not like driving in Kansas. Those are not my favorites. Like Oklahoma, too windy. I'm cool. They told us to drop the empty and to bobtail back to Chattanooga. Our overnight team said, y'all need to be, is it put in the system that you guys are going to be reteaming? So that's possibly why they bring you guys back to Chattanooga. Overnight dispatch cannot make significant adjustments in comparison to the daytime people. She put in the notes that we're okay with staying a team until our home time, which was going to come up in like a week. So, and keep us in the Texas area and back to East Coast. Between Texas and East Coast, so that by the time the loads are done for the week, a crazy drive back to the terminal, which is in Chattanooga. She said, both of y'all get y'all reset in, and then y'all pick it back up on Monday for whatever loads they may have for y'all. I said, cool. Monday come, daytime dispatchers, they was just like, we didn't approve for y'all to come back to Chattanooga. I don't know who did that. So I'm like, what? We was already in Indiana because the nighttime dispatch person told us to stay put and don't go anywhere. So that's what we did. We stayed put and didn't go anywhere. But we were still trying to understand what was happening with being dispatched to Chattanooga. We already dropped the trailer. So here come Monday. Now we got to pick up another empty trailer to get hauling when y'all just told us to drop off the old one. But we could have still had it if you guys didn't tell us to drop it off. That put us behind because now we got to go get a trailer in order to start rolling. It was just didn't make any sense. We should have just kept the trailer. We should have just kept the trailer for the whole weekend. So anyway, so mind you, it's Christmas week, y'all. It's Christmas week, you guys have home time coming up. We're going to go ahead and dispatch you all your loads for the week, and you guys should be good up to your home time. He was like, okay, cool, no problem. We had to pick up an empty trailer about an hour or so away by 10 p.m. That's when my co-driver's hours was going to reset. So I would start driving first, and then he'll drive after, because I prefer to drive at night. There ain't nobody on the road. Way stations are closed. I love it here. He planned us all of our loads for the week. Indiana, go to Ohio. From Ohio, go to California, Haywood, California. From Haywood, California, Fontana, California. Then to Georgia. And then they will bobtail us from Georgia to Chattanooga. So our whole week was planned out. Cool. I go to sleep and I wake up to start my shift, and I see load canceled. I said, okay, it starts. It's the week of Christmas. Load is canceled due to low freight. Okay, I expected this, but I wanted to at least pick up a load on Monday. And it was Monday night too. So it was Monday night when we was able to roll. We should have got that like early in the morning. It came in at 8 o'clock when they sent that message. So I said, okay, with that load being canceled, trip B from California to Georgia. So I reached out to the dispatch and I was like, hey, trip B is affected by A. Are you guys going to give us a substitute load to backfill that? Go into California? And they were like, hang tight, we're gonna try and find you another load. And it's like, okay. I said, well, if you guys can't find us another load, then with it being Christmas and it's low freight, let's just go back to Chattanooga, because things are not going to start picking back up until Thursday. So you're telling me that we're going to have to sit out here in Indiana from Saturday night all the way up to Thursday, not making no money? Then it made no sense. Contacted them at 1, contacted them at 6, contacted them at 9 in the morning. Hey, do you guys have any updates on when a load will be assigned to us? We would like to get hauling. They were like, we're doing our best, and no, we can let you bobtail back to Chattanooga. And I was just like, you ain't gonna have no freight though until like Thursday. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, we're not making any money. And the communication sucks and telling us the same thing that y'all been telling us for 2 days. So if you really want to count it, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we were sitting for like 3 days. No money, sitting in Indiana with no load, no trailer. Mind you, we've been traveling since Saturday and into Sunday morning. And then we was going to switch. And then we realized that he didn't have any hours to drive. Really felt like he was doing that intentionally. He running his 14 and not being able to drive. There was something to that. Somehow something had happened with his clock to where he couldn't drive. Real sus. So 3 days, no load. They said hang tight. I got tired of hang tight. You have no course of action and you're just trying to just like gas me up or just give me empty promises. I'm going to get upset because now you're not being transparent. Now you're not communicating. Now I'm being offended because I'm out here in a bunk with another person for 3 days not making any money. That's the whole reason I'm in a truck, honey. So contacted them again. Hey, are you guys, is there any load for us? No, we're still working on it. For 3 days, y'all are working on getting us a load. Y'all might as well just bobtail us back. We don't have a trailer. So I said to my co-driver, I said, hey, since your hours is replenished, sir, and I drove 7 hours, go ahead, sir, and go ahead and start hopping in the driver's seat. And let's just go ahead and go back to the terminal. Because it's Christmas Eve. You're not going to have no freight for us until the 27th. Or the 26th. And then with that being said, Christmas was on Wednesday. That means Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would get one load in. On average, if it's one load, it can't do no 2,400 miles with that. So it's going to be a 1,400 on average mile load. Which means with us being a team, that 1,400 or so miles is going to be split in half. Some miles for him, some miles for me. So that is going to equate to like a $300 paycheck. $500 paycheck, if that. No. No. Let's go home. And then when y'all ready, we could come back. You know what? Y'all are playing games. I already put my resignation at this point. But I was going to stay if things had changed that final week before I went home. Things went bad. Things just went all the way bad. My co-driver said, hey, you want to go ahead and start driving? What am I driving for? I drove 7.5 hours here. And when was the last time you drove, sir? On Saturday? That's when you last drove? No, I'm not driving, homie. I'm not driving. You go ahead and drive us home. Like, go, let's drive us back. Horrible team experience. I wanted a co-driver that was experienced. He said he had 20 years of experience. Didn't show it. Ultimately happened. I drove this truck back to Chattanooga. I bobtailed. He was being scared and he didn't want to do it, but he wanted to go home. Like, what? It didn't make no sense. So it did not work with Covenant at all. And I said, look, your truck is back at your terminal. And when I came back, it was so many trucks there. I couldn't find no parking. So they were getting drivers off the road way from the previous week. And we told them, like, yes, we want to be over the road for Christmas week. We had home time coming up on the 29th up until New Year's. The plan didn't plan. The dispatch didn't dispatch. Like, for me going from California to the East Coast just about every week, I thought as a team driver I would get paid anywhere between $16,000 and $2,000 a week. 2 of my checks was less than $1,100. But I'm here sacrificing being home with my daughter. I'm sacrificing out here, and I'm not making the return that I thought I was going to make. So sometimes in situations, you just have to just bow out and know when it's not working for you. That situation was not working for me. Doing OTR is not for the faint of heart when it comes to using the bathroom, when it comes to keeping up with your hygiene. It's having team. You and your team driver got to have the same mindset. Towards the end, me and my co-driver was not seeing eye to eye. Affected miles, that affected like different aspects that it did not make it worth it for me being out here. So I was like, yo, I might as well do regional. I might as well just trying to find something local. Needless to say, I will not do team again. I wouldn't do a team again unless it's somebody that I know for a good substantial amount of time. But it regular Joe Schmo, hey, you have an endorsement, I got an endorsement, let's go. Like, no, I'm not doing that no more. No more. A horrible experience. Horrible. So I parked the truck, communicated, this is my last day due to lack of driver support and lack of communication within the company. Boop. That's it. You're not gonna pull the okie doke on me, bro. Like, don't like force dispatch. At Covenant, if you get a low come on your platform science, you can't refuse it. You just gotta go. And those were times when it was snowing up in Pennsylvania, like, and it was crazy traffic up there. Like, they don't care. When you work for a company, just know that, like, you're the peon. Just drive the truck. Divide up your time. For me, I got tired the first 4 hours of initially driving. So work your break. Take your break when you need to take your break. There was one time I was leaving from New Jersey and I was so tired. That highway, them highway curves were crazy. So I had stopped and slept for like an hour. And overall, it was fun seeing different states within a short time frame. But you got to be mentally on the same page with your team partner. If you can deal with how the company treats you or not. There was no financial benefit, like if thing happened on the load or when we're just idling or we're just waiting for a next pickup, waiting for a good while, here's some pay. And nothing. So it's just the compensation, the incentives for Covenant wasn't anything. You get 63 cents a mile when you have your hazmat and you have your endorsement, so they really do push for you to have your hazmat. I gotta get my endorsements fairly soon before my year is over, or so I'll have to take my ELDT training over. So I don't want to do that. So I definitely got to get up on this endorsement train before it takes off. But yeah, so that is the reason why I left Covenant, because their lack of communication and their lack of driver support. I have very good temperament. FedEx all those years taught me good temperament when it comes to dealing with people. And when I was working at VHO as their regional transportation coordinator, that also showed me a temperament for the other side of line haul and etc. So I learned how to downshift. I gained a lot of experience, seen a semi veer off the road like literally next to me. You will experience a lot, you will see a lot when you go in OTR, but some companies are just not for you or just not for me. So I am back home in my truck. Just changed the batteries yesterday. Shout out to my homie for helping me out get my batteries out and connect them back on. You got get you a solid team, man. Get you a solid team of people who's on the same wavelength as you. Mentally, mindset wise, spiritually, whatever way that is going to help you find friends that are in the same caliber. So I'm back in my truck. Batteries is installed. Guilty inspection, get my 2290. Fuel, insurance. So those things I need to get done. That's next on the list. So it confirmed for me that I want to be an owner operator. Like, that is the route that I just need to go in, because a driver will get paid whatever they get paid a week. Let's just say $1,100 up to $1,600 on average a week. But owner operator could gross anywhere between, I'm gonna say on the low end, $4,500 and upwards to $9,000. Let's say $9,500 a week. Granted, after I take out my expenses, my overhead is not this high around in comparison to when I rented a box truck. Overhead for my truck is significantly low. Less than a year for me to pay it off. So owner operator is definitely the way to go. So that's what I'm working on. That's where we're at in this journey. Me saying sayonara to Covenant. It was a good introductory to OTR. And I appreciate it for that. Some cool people there at Covenant. It's just overall their communication is just trash. If you could look past the communication, cool, go for them. I would not be doing team again unless it's somebody personally that I know, but I would not be doing it through a company. So what questions do you guys have for me as a beginner trucker, a female owner operator out here? Share your gems, your tips, because we're all here to get better and to make that money to change our lives and our families' lives. Right? All right, this is a long video. I gotta break this up. If you got this far in this video, type holla in the comment box. Peace and blessings to y'all. Ashe.